Just going around the table, who here considers themselves a feminist?
No, not at all.
Yes.
Yes?
No.
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 Yeah.
No.
It's a feminist. Okay. And then you said you used to hate Donald Trump and now you love him.
Yep. Same thing. Like, and that whole mind rots. Just, I used to think he was all the things that people like to argue about. He was racist, that he was sexist, that he was a predator, that he was all of these things. But no.
Dude, Andrew, I'm reading your chat and it's like so scathingly, I don't even know where to begin, bro.
All these women, minus the one who just talked, sound like feminists to me. All sound like feminists to me.
How so?
When we get to these ideas of things like submission, we get to these ideas of these things, I suddenly hear a bunch of feminism popping up. So I just wanted to point that out. Now you guys, I mean, you can roll your eyes, right? But if any of you would like to engage, so I can point out how the likelihood that you're a feminist is basically 100%, I'm happy to do so.
Well, what would your definition of a feminist be? Because a lot of the time it's an extremist point of view, and a lot of people view it as that. And it is an extremist point of view.
Yeah, I'll give the most charitable view that I possibly can. It's a movement towards egalitarianism between men and women and the rejection of patriarchal systems.
Okay.
That's feminism.
Well, for me personally, submission is only due to my husband, and that is it. I'm not here to submit to any other man other than my husband, unless it's like a church leader or someone wiser than me.
Who's asking you to submit to strangers? That's bizarre.
You're saying submit, like women submitting to men. So men is
No,
other
that's not
than
what
just
I said
my.
at all.
You're literally talking
I said
about
when
your
it came
scripture
up to
in
topics of
Timothy.
submission. By the way, I wasn't even referencing you, Nala. You can be quiet for a minute while we're talking, while we're having our conversation. So anyway,
said we.
back where I was before I was so rudely interrupted by the former sex worker. If you don't mind, if we can just kind of
Calling
dive
me by
into
my
this,
sin.
I'd like to ask you what your definition of feminism is.
I would have the same definition. I would say like anti-patriarchal society.
Yeah, I think that the rejection of patriarchy is very key to feminism. And so in interpersonal dynamics, when I hear things like mutual submission, I don't think that they're talking about what a traditional role of mutual submission would actually be, right? They're talking about the idea of 50-50, we're equal, with, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I think that that's a way in which feminists view modernity.
Well, I don't
as
think it
men
has
and
to be
women being
50-50.
interchangeable widgets.
I don't believe that it has to be 50-50. If anything, I mean, this is going to be hella controversial, but I don't really care. I think women are supposed to kind of submit more just because, I mean, like, think about it. Men are the ones with the testosterone. They're the ones that are physically stronger. They are stronger. So if anything, like, the woman should be the person to, like, submit more. Like, yes, I think that sometimes a man can be like, yeah, I'm wrong. But I also think that, you know, I don't know how to word this. I'm bad at putting this into words, but do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Well, I think not only is Christianity a patriarchal religion, but I think that patriarchy is necessary for societies to flourish.
I agree.
I don't even think that societies can exist absent patriarchy.
Well, because I think
don't
that
even
men
think
and
it's
women both
possible.
have their own roles.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah, so but let me ask you a question, right? This is a question that I always ask every single panel, and I usually get a pretty wide, diverse set of answers, right? But let us assume for a moment that you and your husband, you're in decision-making mode.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells you something that you think is irrational, but it's not immoral, just irrational. You think it's irrational. So he's asking you to do something. Perhaps this has something to do with the school your children go to or something like this. He wants to move their school for whatever reason, or perhaps he wants to move for whatever reason. He wants to do these things, nothing which is immoral or against your religious convictions, but you just think is a little, you know, like perhaps irrational from your view, or you think it's a bad idea. And he says, I don't care, we're going to do it anyway. Does he have the right to do that? And is that what submission means, that even when he does do that, you follow his lead?
Well, I mean, I think that you should like kind of submit to that, because if it's something that the man wants to do because it's like something he wants to pursue, like a career, then yeah, I think you should submit to that. I think that you should let the man lead, especially if it's for the better of the relationship.
Yeah, what does that mean, though? If he's making what you think is an irrational decision.
Okay.
He dismisses your thoughts on the irrational decision, but it's not an immoral decision.
Okay, well,
Does he get that
let me
said?
bring an example here.
Yeah,
So my grandfather was going to be on Major League Baseball, but my grandmother said, nope, you're not doing that. And he listened to her, and he could have been on a Major League Baseball team. I think that him listening to her is him being kind of a little bitch boy. So, like...
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Well, going around the table then, right? Same question.
Can I pop in?
Hop in.
Okay. So, like, for me, I believe in the nuclear family, and I believe my husband has authority over me just because I believe in gender roles. Like, my goal, my future job I always joke about is being a stay-at-home mom, because that's my future goal. It's like working one day, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, because I want to be a mom one day, but I have to find a boyfriend, then be engaged, then be married and all that stuff. But for me, like, I believe that, like, if he believes our kids shouldn't go to that school, I'm going to, like, talk with him about it and just be like, here's my opinion, here's your opinion, okay, let's talk about it, and be like, oh, I get your side. Even if it's irrational, I'll probably, like, agree with him. I'm just a very agreeable person in most things, not all things. But I'll probably be like, okay, you have authority over me. I believe in you. If you think this is the best choice, this is the best choice. But if you're wrong, you have to admit that you're wrong, kind of thing.
Why does he have to admit he's wrong?
Just because, like, that was his choice. And, like, let's say I really disagree with him on something, he chose to do that. And let's say it hurt our family somehow, I just want to be like, I'm sorry I did that. I should have prayed more about it. I should have talked to some advisors about it, the pastor about it, or with you more about it. But I do believe that he has authority over me and that I should submit to him just because I believe in gender roles in the household.
So how do you know the metric of who's wrong?
Like
So in this case, you say if he's wrong, you should admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he says, no, I wasn't wrong. I was right. This was the right move, and you're wrong.
Well, everyone has a right to their own entitlement, to their own opinion about right and wrong. That's when I think we should go to advisor and ask them more about it, or pray more about it
Who makes
too.
the determination, right? If you're submitted. So as
Yeah.
you start to whittle this down, we start to kind of dive into it, right? If he's wrong, he should admit that he's wrong. So he looks over at you and he says, yeah, but I'm not wrong. You just think I am, and I don't care.
No,
Is he in the wrong?
I'm saying the hypothetical situation. Let's say like he led our family. Somehow we lost a bunch of money because he chose to invest in something or he thought was going to like prevail. And then he's like, I'm so sorry. I thought this was going to do really well. Then all of a sudden it didn't. That's what I'm saying. Not
Yeah,
necessarily
but what
like.
if he looks at you and he says, yeah, I made this investment and it went wrong, right? But I was still in the right here.
I don't think he would say that to me.
Yeah, but if he did.
If he did, I'd probably be upset about it, but I'd probably get over it because I'm very forgiving of people. And I'd probably just be like, okay, whatever you think is right. Because once again, I believe in the gender roles and that if I'm marrying someone, like I have to be submissive to him because I believe in that nuclear family.
Okay.
I also agree. I'm with Natalie on this one. I have always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That's my dream. I literally told my parents that I'm going to work and then I'm going to find a husband and I'm going to keep working until I'm pregnant. And as soon as that baby pops out, I am at home. I'll do the cooking, I'll do the cleaning. I just want to be at home with my children, serving my husband. And I'm with Natalie. I believe in, what did you call it, a nuclear family?
Yes.
A nuclear family where the husband is the head of the household. He does all the heavy lifting stuff. I do the stuff with the kids. I do the caring. I do the laundry, whatever. And I agree with her. I think that it's one of those things that I want to talk to him about. Like, if I think that this is irrational, I'll give my opinion. I'll ask, like, okay, why are you making this decision? Like, what is your rationale
Yeah, but what if
behind
he doesn't
this?
want to hear your opinion? He says, I don't want to hear your opinion.
Then he'll be a bad husband. What type of godly man will not want to hear the opinion of his wife?
Oh, and you're nodding over there, right? Well, so what if he thinks, for some reason, that even hearing your opinion will second-guess a decision he thinks he needs to make? So he says, you know what, I don't want to hear your opinion on this, and I'm not even going to explain myself. What type of awful wife doesn't submit immediately to her husband's authority and let him lead like he's supposed to?
So you're saying that he doesn't want to give his opinion to me. He
Saying,
doesn't want to give.
Who's the leader?
Well,
do
he
leaders
would be the leader of the household.
Why do you make the expectation that leaders have to answer their subordinates? Who's the leader and who's the follower here?
I would at least expect him to love his
Yeah,
wife.
that's right.
And
So
at
who's in
least
charge then with your expectations? Who's in charge? Him or you?
Okay, why would he marry me if he didn't love me? Why would he marry me if he didn't at least want to hear me out?
How is this a question of love?
Because if you love someone, you would want to hear them out, wouldn't you?
Why? There's tons of times I don't want to hear out people that I love who are saying stupid things I don't care about.
Okay, then why would I want to hear? Then why would I want to hear out my
That there have been
husband?
people around who you love who say stupid ass shit that you don't want to hear because it's nonsense. Plenty of times in your life you can cope and say, no, there's not, Andrew. There is, right? This idea that somebody doesn't love you because they might dismiss an opinion that you have doesn't mean that they don't love you. Who's supposed to be in charge here? Him or you?
He is the one who would ultimately make the decision, but as long as I know his reasoning behind it, that is okay. If
Why
this
does he need to give your reasoning to you?
decision is involving our
This is not
children
submission.
together, if it's involving our children
Every time.
together, then that's what it's important. It's important because I'm the one taking care of his children.
And it's
I am the
his
one
decision
doing the
how
job
you
for
take care of
him.
those children. Isn't it his decision how you take care of them?
So you're saying that he would marry me to birth him his children, then he would divorce me because
No, I'm
he
saying
doesn't
that.
want me
What
to.
does submission mean? What does it mean?
I will submit to him because he's my husband. I will
And
do
what
things
does that?
for
Yeah,
him.
what does that mean? You just use the word to describe the word. What does submission itself actually mean?
Submission would mean that I would do what he wants. I would follow
You
what
would
he is.
obey. You would obey.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I will obey what he
Okay,
wants.
well then
but
why does the person that you are obeying need to answer to you for your obedience? I don't get that.
because I would care. Because
Yeah,
I would
that's
care
great.
about
He
what's
cares
happening.
Too. He cares too. But who's in charge here? I thought that submission meant obey. I didn't think that submission meant
Do you
double
want-
talk,
would you
double
want
talk,
your
second
wife-
guess, you need to explain, you need to do all of this. I thought that it meant obey. I thought it meant obedience.
Would you want your wife to be a silent slave to you?
That's not silent slavery.
Yes, it is.
How?
Submission is I would listen to you. I will do what you want. But you have to, okay, hey, do you know what the servant vassal treaty between God and man is? Do you know what that is? The servant to vassal treaty. God gave stipulations to why the people of Egypt should listen to him, because he brought them out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, into freedom. And that's why they follow his commands. I follow my husband's commands because he'll listen to me, or not, I will listen to him because he explains to me his reasoning, and I will understand. There is
Okay, so
a
why? Okay,
work
so
here. It's a
just to get this
treaty.
right. What happens if he explains his reasoning and you disagree?
At least I would have known his reasoning.
Yeah,
At
know,
least I
but what
wouldn't have
happens
been
if you
silent.
disagree? What happens if
I
you
could give
disagree?
my opinion, and if he
Yeah, I know,
ultimately
so what happens
decides,
if you disagree, though?
then I will disagree. But at least I will know his reasoning.
Yeah, so I don't understand. If you disagree, are you going to do it anyway?
It's knowledge is key. I would like to know why.
I feel like you're just not answering my question.
Maybe I would agree if I know
Yeah,
why.
I know, I agree. But he explains his reasoning and you disagree. That's the question. So then what happens then?
Okay, I've already answered your question. I said I will
What is
still
it?
go through with it. I would
Then
allow
why do you
him to
need to
do
know
it.
the reasoning?
Because I would like to. It's curiosity. Sure.
Partnership.
It's a partnership.
So submission is I will obey even when I disagree, but you still must tell me to satiate my curiosity. That's submission.
I just would like to know why my husband will make a life
that's great that
decision.
you would like to
I
know,
would
but I
like
don't
to know
understand how that's
why my
submission.
husband will make a life-changing decision for my children. And if he does not want to tell me, then what type of husband, what type of loving man will he be?
Yeah, but that's really
At that
strange
point,
because
I am just a slave to him.
yeah, this logic makes no sense. And I'll
Your
explain
logic
why.
makes no sense,
Facts.
sir.
Yeah, I'm going to explain. I'll explain
Okay,
why your
explain
logic
to
makes
me.
no sense here. It makes zero sense. So if you're saying to me, I'm just a mindless slave who must do what you want, all you're saying in counter to this is, I'm a mindless slave who still must do what you want, but you have to satiate my curiosity. So in other words, I'm going to do what you say either way, but as long as you satiate my curiosity as to the slavery, then it's okay. How in the world does that make sense?
God uses the woman just as much as the man in a relationship.
You are twisting my words.
No,
You're
I'm
trying
using
to
your
make me
words
look. Are
because
you
they're
trying
your
to make me look
words.
stupid? Okay, what I'm
No,
saying.
you're doing that yourself.
Here,
I'm just
can I
sitting
can I
Oh
explain?
my
Can I explain?
Can we be polite,
May I
please?
please explain? Let's
Yeah,
say,
I
let's
just
say,
explained
okay.
it to you.
Let's
Here, I'll
say,
explain it to you again
let's
if you
say the school that my children are currently going to, he doesn't like a teacher there for some odd reason. He just doesn't like a teacher. So he wants to send them to a school that's maybe 20 minutes away compared to this 5 minutes away one. All right? That's like, it's kind of irrational. You know, you just don't like a teacher. But he talks to me. He says, you know, this teacher here at the school, I don't think it's perfect, it's good for my kids. If my kids stay here, then it will just harm them. It won't be good for them. Still be like, it's 20 minutes away. It's kind of irrational, don't you think? He's like, but yes, at the end of the day, I don't think this teacher is good for my kids. And I'll weigh it. You know what? You're right. This teacher might not be good for our kids. I
Weigh it against
understand.
what?
And I'll take them to that 20 minutes,
Yeah, but
20 minute away
what are you
school.
going to weigh it against?
What she just said.
Wait, can you repeat that, please?
You said you're going to weigh what?
Well, I'm gonna say, yeah, I agree. Maybe this harmful teacher is more damaging than a 20-minute drive to a school.
Got it. Okay. So what happens in this situation if you disagree with him and you think his reasoning is off? Are you going to do it anyway?
Honestly, I think that depends on the situation.
Right.
I don't.
Okay,
There's
so when we
There
get
is
to
a
the heart
lot.
of it,
It's a spectrum.
it's not really about submission, right? It's not really about obedience, right? If you think that he's being irrational, right, by whatever metric you decide that is, right, then you will not obey, will you?
In your idea of submission, you might as well just buy a sex doll and carry that around. Because
That's
for
not
you,
an- that's not an argument.
for
In
you,
your idea of submission, you're in charge.
no. In my
Yeah.
idea of
Never said
submission,
that.
in my
Never
idea
said
of
that.
submission,
Then tell me
we
this,
are
tell me
working
this.
together as a
Then what are the
family
consequences if
where
you
I will
disagree?
support him
What are
from the
consequences
sidelines.
for the man if you disagree and don't want to do it? What are the consequences for him?
Say it again.
What are the consequences for the man if you disagree and don't want to do it?
What are the
What are the
consequences for him?
Yeah, what happens? Yeah, what happens?
Do you expect me to say he'll go sleep on the couch?
I want to know what the consequences are.
We'll talk. I've talked
he
about
says,
you
but
and I have
baked
talked.
into the hypotheticals, he's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
We're done with it. I'm
Okay.
doing it this way, and that's
Okay,
that.
then we don't talk.
Yeah, so then what are the consequences?
Give me what? Like what?
Like what?
You
Like,
have
if
to
there's
tell
no
me a
so in other
situation.
words, if there's
Please
no
tell me a situation.
consequence-
I can't just
if
make up a
there's no
consequence. 50
I'm gonna explain
lashings.
it.
Like, what do you want me
I'm
to
gonna
say?
explain it to you. If there's no consequence, then what is the point of you even having an objection? So if there's no consequence you're going to obey anyway, why is there even a need to express the rationality to you to begin with? That makes no sense to me.
If he has something that I don't agree with, I'm gonna let him know. I'm a person who will support you from the sidelines, but if you do something wrong, then I will let you know. I will tell you. I don't understand why that's so confusing to you.
No, I'm going to explain again, right? Because all you keep doing is every time we whittle this down, you just reframe and change
Can
it
I ask
again.
you how old
So
you
I'll
are?
explain it again.
Oh.
How old are you?
You don't want me to explain it?
No, I will. I just want to know how old you are.
How old are you?
I'm 19. You were arguing with a 19-year-old. I've been homeschooled my whole life. I just got to college.
So you're saying
I'm
that
fresh
you're
off
too
the boat.
stupid to argue with me?
Sure,
Okay.
but continue, please.
No, you're too stupid to argue with
I
me.
am trying my best right now. You're
Okay, that's
probably
fine. Hey, if you're too stupid to argue with me,
30 to 40-year-old man
Listen, if you're too
arguing with
stupid
a
to argue with me, I'll stop
19-year-old.
arguing with you. That's
know,
fine.
please, no, continue. I want to continue this argument because you're helping me grow and understand what I truly want. So please,
Well, I don't,
continue.
I don't see how if you're too stupid to have the argument.
Oh.
That's what she just said, not me. Why you get mad at me? I asked
You just
her,
called her
"Are you too stupid to have the
stupid,
argument?"
bro.
She said yes.
no, No, it's fine. It's fine.
Why would you get
Continue.
mad at me?
You are not
What did I
stupid.
do?
No, please. It's okay. Yeah, sure. You could call me stupid, but please, let's continue.
I didn't call you stupid. You called you stupid.
Well, you asked if I was stupid, and I just said,
And
just to
you
shut
said
you
yes.
up. Well, just to shut you up, I said yes. So please,
Well, then
continue.
why do
Let's
you
talk.
want me to keep talking if you just said you're too stupid to talk to?
She never said that.
I never
you
said I'm
that.
too stupid to talk to. You just
What the
assume.
fuck?
You just asked me if.
Am I in like Twilight Zone? Here's the question: Are you too stupid to argue
Can we
with?
just-
Answer yes.
can we
Okay, well, then that's
just
the end of the
continue
argument.
this
That's the end of the
conversation?
argument. If you tell me, Andrew, I'm too stupid for you to argue with me, why would I keep arguing with you?
He's just bringing up the age thing because you said that he was arguing with a 19-year-old as if a 19-year-old can't argue with him.
No, yeah, I understand. I'm just saying I'm not as experienced in life. I haven't been through these situations as you have. I've never dated anybody. So yes, I have less experience. You are asking me questions that I've never even pondered in my life. So you expecting me to
Then
come
why
up
do you
these
take such
you
offense by us
expecting
discussing
me to come up these witty questions. I'm trying my best. So
I just don't
so please, no,
understand why-
no, I'm begging. Please continue. I love this conversation.
Okay, well, I don't understand then if you're that upset because you say I'm 19, you're 40, right?
I'm not upset.
If you get this upset by just pondering questions you haven't pondered before, then why have a discussion with anybody who's ever older than you about anything?
Who said anybody is upset? I'm just asking why you're attacking me for something I have
What
never
did I
thought
ever
about
attack you
before.
on?
You are asking me questions over and over again
Oh, I
that
know.
I am
That's
trying my
good.
best
That's
to
an
answer
attack?
for you.
That's an attack to ask you questions? What?
Just hold
What do
on.
you
Just
mean?
sometimes like your voice is very demeaning towards people.
Oh my God, my
that's-
tone. Let your pearls harder. Like, what do you, I can't ask questions because, oh, your tone offends me? Like, what the fuck is this? How can you people vote? Oh,
how
I'm
about-
20, I can vote. I can
how
vote
about
for who
this?
president is.
How
But if
about
you ask me
this?
questions in a tone I can't take, oh
Okay.
my God, it's the end of the world. Get a fucking grip. This is the real world. I'm going to ask questions because I want the answers to the questions I'm asking. Sorry that my tone upsets you, sweetheart. Let me go get you a nice big beaded necklace of pearls, and you can tug on them every time I use a tone you don't like.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
Oh, Andrew! Oh, my Lord! I can't believe that you asked a question in that tone. Oh.
We'll call him Blinky.
Okay, how about this? Instead of continuously asking if I think I'm too stupid, let's just continue the conversation. How's that?
Yeah. So here's So here's the question that I don't understand, right? I guess what I'm processing is, if it is true that you're willing to submit to X person, even if they make irrational decision, then why is the necessity even there for them to express the decision to begin with? That's what I don't get. That's what makes no sense to me, because if he expresses it and you disagree with it, but you're going to do it anyway, then why does he ever need to express it to begin with? That's just like, that's bizarre.
Because I'm his wife and I'm not a slave. There's a difference.
Yeah, but I don't understand then, because then the threshold breaker for what would make you a slave is not the task he wants you to do, but rather the fact that he won't tell you why. And that I don't understand either, right? So if he walks in and he's like, clean all this shit up. And you're like, why? And he goes, well, because I want it cleaned up. Well, then he cleaned it up and you're not a slave. But if he walks in and says, clean all this shit up, and you say, why? And he's like, don't fucking worry about it, then you are a slave. It's like, that makes no, you see how that sounds, right? When it's said out loud, it makes no sense.
You do understand that most things are situational, right? There's so many different
sure. I can grant that
situations
things are situational.
that these, what your example, it could be different in, and your example could work in. So I think it's very all situational. So that's why I chose the one with my school, because that's like, it kind of like, it's what I would understand.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, but I don't see still how, if this is submission, and the idea behind submission is you're going to do it anyway, regardless of even if you agree with his reasoning behind it, then why should he ever give his reasoning? Because if he never does, you do it anyway.
So Andrew, do you not speak to your wife about like big decisions in your life, or you just make the decisions and not care what she thinks?
Sure, I talk to her about all sorts of things, and then there's all sorts of things that I make that are big decisions I don't talk to her
Well, do you
about.
care about her opinion in the matter, or do you just talk to vent?
Sometimes I really care about her opinion.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't give a shit at all.
Okay.
It just
Well, no.
depends on
I don't
what
think
it is.
she's saying that the male has to respect
What I'm
every
saying is
opinion
that
she
that's
has.
my choice. What I'm saying is that that's my choice. I get to make that decision. That's what I'm saying.
That you care about what she thinks and says because she's your wife.
On which topics I want her advice on and which ones I don't want her advice on, yeah.
What type of topics do you not ask her opinion on?
Oh, all sorts of things, all sorts of political topics I don't give a shit about her opinion on. There's all sorts of topics. Then there's all sorts of topics I really care about her opinion on, right?
Such
Want
as?
her advice on them. But what I'm saying is that would be my choice to make that determination,
Okay.
not her choice to make that determination.
See, I think you and I have two different ideas on submission. I
agree.
I agree. That's where we can agree on. I come from a family where my mom and dad, whenever they need to make a big decision, they talk together about everything. The only big decision my dad has never told my mom about was buying her like I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like a $2,000 ring for her birthday. It's not even that much, but it was good enough for my mom.
Submission with permission.
That was like something
That's
that
what
he
it
didn't
is.
tell her about.
Submission with permission.
And so there's just a lot of things that my mom and dad, they would always talk to each other about big decisions, especially when it includes my brother and I. So for me, communication is always a big thing. And I think that I would submit to my husband on most things. I think on some things that, as you're saying, where it's very, very irrational, like he wants to spend $2,000 gambling, I would say no way in hell are you doing that, because you're putting our family monetary value at risk.
The conversation there, if they're gambling, is that that's against your religion.
Okay,
then
let's say something. Let's say something that's not against the religion. Let's say he wants to go.
Right.
Let's say he wants to go on a family trip to somewhere that's way beyond our financial area.
Situation, yeah.
Financial situation. I might say reconsider. Go someplace else.
Yeah,
go someplace nicer.
And so, great. So here's the scenario. You say, let's reconsider this. And he says, no. I'm not going to reconsider it. We're going on the fucking vacation, baby, and I don't want to hear another thing about it ever again for the rest of my life. You say what?
If he's doing, okay, there's two situations that can happen. If he's doing this as a birthday gift, and it's like not that, and it's not that bad, okay. But if it's just, why are you spending so much money for no reason at all? I'm just saying, go have fun. I'll stay back. It'll be half the cost.
So how's that submission then? How's that submit? He says, no, get in the car. We're going. You're coming with me. We're going, baby. We're going on this trip.
If it is putting our family's financial money at risk, then he must be drunk.
Well, then but whose choice is it for the family finances?
This is why,
whose decisions are these ultimately? They can't be yours if he's the head. It makes no sense. You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
I will submit to you. I will submit to you as long as you are doing what I think I want you to do. That's what submission
and
means
you know what? I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're trying, what you understand me saying. But I think it just comes down that you and I just have really different ideas on submission. And I think you also see this from a man's point of view, where I see this from a woman's point of view as what I want to do for my husband. And you're thinking of what you want your wife to do for you. So I think there's two very different views.
No, I'm not talking about either of those things. I'm just talking about submission and what it means. Submission
well, I have an idea.
It's super duper hard. I'm just showing you a logical circle.
Okay.
So that you understand the logical circle. So here's submission. I obey my husband. You agree with me that's submission?
Yeah, I obey my husband.
Okay, so your husband gives you no immoral task or nothing against your religion. No task that is immoral, nothing which is against your religion.
Okay.
Do you obey that task?
If it is not immoral and not against my religion, then sure.
Okay, then sure. So he says, baby, we're going on a family vacation.
Hang on,
categories. Just let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so great. So now we're halfway through the circle. Yes. As long as it's not immoral, it's not evil, it's not against my religion, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to obey. So he comes to you with a task which you think is irrational, right? He says, hey, Okay, we're going on this family trip to the fucking Keys, and I'm emptying out half of our savings. And you're like, that's a terrible idea. He says, I don't give a shit. I really don't want to hear your opinion on it. We're going. He's done nothing immoral, nothing against your religion. So help me circle back to how you're going to obey, right? You're going to obey?
I see where you're going.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. But when you get to that third stage, he checked 2 out of 3 check marks. I just don't think that it's very wise. And if he really wants to go on that trip, bring one of your boys. Bring one of your friends.
Okay.
You aren't.
I'll turn
I
it
will
back
not be a
over.
part.
I'll turn it back over to Brian, mostly because I got to go take a leak. But anyway, I appreciated the conversation.
Have a good leak,
thank you for
Andrew.
the
Have a good
conversation.
leak.
Thank you.
Have a good leak.